think 21. And from that day, when I thought to myself that, well, I can't follow any more religious beliefs anymore. I have to look at life in a different view, and I have promised myself that if I die, I would go, and if it turns out that God really exists in the same way that I was taught, or anyone else get taught in this world how God is, then I would go to him and tell him, well, you haven't showed me anything good about believing in God, anything special about religions. Everything you have showed me was conflict, hatred, and disharmony in life. I felt at a certain point in my life that religion is really the worst thing that can prevent me from being happy, being loving, being understanding of other people. So from that day on, I called myself somehow an atheist, but I wasn't really. Until I turned 30. When I turned 30, there was in my being, or in my heart, a very strong desire to go and live in a natural place, like mountains and lakes and snow, grass, things like that, like without having to see any man-made buildings or objects. So I did that, and I went to the Alps to try first. To try 1 month. 1 month just living in a very natural place without any need to go and stay in a city for 1 whole month. And what happened that month has changed my life until this day. So I'm 40 now. For the last 10 years of my life has been influenced by one day when I was trying to sleep under a tree in a very remote place, natural place in Austria, in the Alps, and there was a shelter away from me for half an hour away from me, but I didn't want to go to a shelter, to sleep under a shelter, because the weather was beautiful at that day, and the sky was totally clear, like absolutely blue sky. It was getting darker, and I set myself to sleep under that tree, but I couldn't, because once I lay down, I felt enormously anxious. My heart was beating very fast, and I wasn't able to understand what is making me anxious, because as I was looking at everything, the weather was warm, in fact maybe too hot, and the sky was clear, so there was no possibility of any rain. But I was thinking that if it really did rain, I might not be able to survive that day, because once it rains in the Alps, in the mountains, the weather might change from plus 20 degrees to minus 10 degrees. and it would be like really terrible. I might really not be able to survive it. And while I was thinking in this way, I saw a picture in my mind that I am walking down a street in the dark, under rain, under heavy rain, and just about half an hour later, I was walking down in this situation. Although the weather was very good, just half an hour before that. So the weather has changed suddenly, and I felt at that day that it was such a premonition. It was the first time I had premonition like that.